Good morning, everybody. I'm on to the second week of this total kitchen remodel. I'm actually about 9 days. This will be day 10 because I worked a Saturday the first week and I worked a Saturday this week. The floor took a little bit longer than I was anticipating. It was pretty labor intensive, so I'm glad to have had that behind me at this point. Today, I'm gonna be showing you guys how to assemble your cabinets if you're using RTA cabinets. I like to use Jarlin cabinetry. Come just in the boxes like you see right here. It's got the code for the type of cabinet it is on the side. So this is a wall 3036. Couple tools that you're gonna need. Phillips head drill, you don't need a whole lot. I've got a 18 gauge brad nailer and it's just got a 1 1/4 inch nail in it. I use that to tack my toe kick on, and sometimes I'll use it to tack the backs of the cabinets until the glue dries also. And then I have some green tight bond. That's the heavier duty tight bond wood glue for gluing the cabinets together. So let's go ahead and I'll show you guys unpackaging the cabinets, how I like to lay them out so that they go together in the order that I take them apart. They're pretty boxed strategically so that when you take them out, it's almost in the order that you need them, aside from they like to put the back of the cabinet in front of the doors when they pack them. So when it's going through logistics and being shipped and everything, it doesn't get damaged to the finished doors, but they're packed really well. This is my favorite RTA cabinet that I've worked with, and I've worked with a ton of them. I think they're super nice. They got a nice finish and they got an easy assembly. So let's get to work. So what I like to do is I like to put the box right up on this table. Get yourself a good work table. I like these little fold out tables, but they don't have the seam in the center of them. So those get weak over time when you're building on them. So I just got like that solid slab table instead of it splitting in half. It's a little bit harder to store, but it's a lot easier to assemble your cabinets on. So I just open up with a box cutter, cut all the tape. Just be mindful, even though they're packed really well. In the center, I have had some RTAs that didn't really think of that, and you could cut your cabinet and you really don't want to do that. I just like to hold it on an angle and gently cut it. Be careful. Don't want to cause any damage to your cabinet before you even get it out of the box. And then what I'm going to do, since I'm leaving the box on the table, just cut the extra sides off because they'll just be in the way. And this is what you get when you open it up. So the very first two things I see, these are the shelves. I could tell they're the shelves because they've got the finished banding around the whole thing, and they're 3/4 instead of 1/2 inch. So I just like to unbox in order, and I'll set things up where I could easily grab it. Probably use these boxes to protect all that hard work that I just did on the floor. Don't want any damages being done to that for sure. Next piece is my top and bottom. I can see it's got a little notch in it, and this little notch right here goes into the face frame. So I'll get both of these out. I'm gonna set those right in front of my shelves because that's gonna be the second to last piece that I need. Hardware box, put that aside, we're gonna need it. Now these are the sides. If you look at the sides, they've got the pins for the shelf, so shelf pin holes. And then it's got a dado on the top and the bottom where those pieces that I just pulled out will slide in. And it's also got a smaller dado in the side for the back panel when you put the back panel in. So these are gonna be the first piece that I need. I'm gonna keep them close to the table because they're gonna be the first piece that I need to install. And this is what I was saying. They like to put the back behind the face frame. So I'm gonna leave the face frame covered in this bubble wrap that they put on it. And I'm just gonna move it out of the way really quick. And the last piece is the back of the cabinet, which just has a dado in the top and the bottom for the top piece and the bottom piece to slide into and lock it in. Now, even with Jarlin cabinets, there's a couple things that aren't always consistent. I guess it comes to the manufacturing warehouse where they make these, but this one actually has, and I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's got some little pre-drilled holes where they want you to put your brackets. So that's nice, I like that because it keeps it from splitting the face frame. If you don't have those pre-drilled holes, it is a good idea from time to time to go ahead and just get a little like 16th inch drill bit or something and give yourself just a little 1/4 inch of a pilot hole for your brackets and your screws. So let's open up the hardware box and look inside. It simply goes together with these little angle brackets. They'll go on those little pre-drill holes. It's got a box of screws, or a bag of screws. You'll see there's 2 different types of screws in there. The black, just regular coarse thread drywall screws go into the back of the cabinet, into the upper and lower part of it. And then all the little gold screws are actually for the brackets. So I'm gonna just dump that out of the way of the cabinet where I don't have to worry about a screw getting under the face as I'm assembling. And all that's left in the box is some little cabinet bumpers, the nubs that go on the door at the end, and some shelf pins. So what I like to do is I'm gonna take out all of my angle brackets. I'm gonna put the stuff that goes in the cabinet last back in the box. And I will put it in the cabinet at the end. I usually don't put this on until I've installed my kitchen. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and put all these angle brackets where they go. And the very first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and mount some of those, because especially if you're working alone, you wanna go ahead and have these in place because they're gonna help hold the sides and the back in when you go to assemble. So we're prepped for our first 2 pieces. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue everything. Doesn't take a lot, just a nice bead all the way down the sides and the top and the bottom. If you put too much glue in, it's just gonna push out when you lift your box up and set it to dry. So let's start with the left side first so that you guys can see what's going on. You want the dado towards the back. So the spot that doesn't have this little recessed area goes to the front. This one with no like line in it. And put that in, and what I'm doing is I'm just gonna flush up the top and bottom. And you gotta keep in mind that you're working with ready to assemble cabinets, and they're not always gonna be perfect. So what I like to do is flush one side up, feel the other side. This one feels like it's actually a little bit shorter than the cabinet itself. So I'm just gonna split that difference. I could tell just by feeling it. And I'm just gonna tack it in place. And when I'm putting my screw in the hole, I'm cheating it up as high as I can in that hole, because my thought process is that if you cheat it up as high as you can, it's gonna help pull that side into the face frame. Sometimes if you're doing this and you don't get the face frame like tight to the piece that you're putting in, when you go to install your cabinet, you'll have issues lining the face frames up when you pre-drill them and put them together. So you need to make sure that this is totally bedded into this dado. You can get down and look on the sides and make sure that there's no gap. There should be no gap at all. Put the other side on the same exact way. Make sure you don't have anything in your way. And we're about halfway there already, guys. This is not very difficult to do. So if you're a homeowner trying to DIY a kitchen, take your time. I think that you can do this. It's pretty self-explanatory, pretty simple. So we got the top and bottom now. And like I told you when I unboxed it, you have a little notch in these usually. That goes into the dado and the face frame. And make sure you got the right end facing in. I've done it before by accident, just speeding through these and putting the painted edge in. And then you gotta pop your box apart after it's glued and switch it around. Just make sure you take your time, get it right. Only one bracket in the top and the bottom, so it's not hard to do. Now, this is the back. And here's how I like to do this. You can just go ahead and get yourself the same bead in that dado that's in the back. And then also what I like to do is go ahead and flip it over really quick. And there's that dado that goes in the side. We're just gonna put a little bead of glue on either side. Go ahead and get that in place. Now this could be like the trickiest part, in my opinion, on trying to get this together. A lot of times you got to kind of muscle this around a little bit and use your finger strength to get it in where you want it. Now that we've got the back panel in, you only have 4 more brackets. Now when I'm doing these, I like to attach it to the sides that you put in first, because if you put it on here, you might push it open and mess up the back of the cabinet. So here's what I'm saying. I'm gonna tack it right here on either side. And then I wanna look in here and I wanna make sure that I'm tight into my dado on either side, which I am. It's sitting good on this one. But same thing, I cheat that screw all the way to the inside of that hole in the hope that it's gonna pull it tight and hold it tight where I want it. Cheating that screw in that hole will make the bracket sit a lot tighter, I promise you. I've assembled thousands of these. And you can use the screw to your advantage when you're putting these together. And what I like to do is I like to pre-drill these holes in the back, because in my experience, if you just drive your coarse thread screw in there, that drywall screw, even if you're perfectly centered, it seems like it wants to kind of bow out the top or bottom from time to time. You open up your cabinet and you can see where you put your screw. So I just take an extra minute. I make sure that I'm holding the drill perfectly plumb when I'm going in. Just give it a little pre-drill. Now you can drive these a little bit harder than you drove the bracket screws, because they got more bite. But with that being said, it doesn't take, you got a few clicks on your impact, you know you got it in there, and also just see that it countersunk into the pre-drilled holes in the back of the cabinet. And I'll just show you guys, this is our first box assembly. Everything looks good. I'm gonna take a look before I put it on the ground, make sure there's no excess glue. If there is, I'll hit it with a wet rag really quick. And for the video, I will go ahead and slide these off so you can see the finish of the cabinet. This is a nice RTA blue from Jarlin. I like these a lot. They're soft closing also, but they're catching on this foam down here. But that's it, guys. That's fully assembled. That's an upper. I'll show you a lower, and then we're gonna install this kitchen. Got all my upper cabinets assembled at this point, including this large pantry cabinet, which those are not very fun. They're big, and when you're by yourself, those are a little bit tougher than the other ones just because they're so big and bulky, but they still go together. Generally the same concept, you know, the face frame and the finished doors down, make sure you have cardboard under it. I assemble that on the ground and just put your clips on first, throw your sides in, slide it together, do everything I taught you on the uppers, and they go together exactly the same. But now I'm about to switch over and do some lower cabinets, and they're a little bit different because you have to put together your dovetail drawers. So I'll show you guys how I assemble the boxes for the lowers, and then I'll show you how I assemble my drawers and put my tracks in and everything else that has to do with the rest of the install. So let's go ahead and step over here. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the drawer face in the face frame for the time being, because I found that if you take it out, it gets a little wobbly because it's not flat. It doesn't have the build out anymore of the drawer holding it in. So I'm gonna leave that in until I assemble the entire box, and then I'll sneak it out afterwards. Now these are the exact same brackets. The only thing you have is you have some extra little 90-degree brackets for the top. Let's glue her up. Getting low on glue, gonna have to open up the other bottle. Just like we did on the uppers. Just a good line, a good bead, nothing crazy. You don't want it dripping all over your floor and leaking out all inside your cabinet. See guys, very simple. I think that if you're a handy person, a DIYer, and you got some drills and just some basic hand tools, which if you don't have, you could just go pick up right at Harbor Freight or something. You don't have to get anything crazy expensive. You can do this work. I'm confident that anybody could do this if you just follow the steps. But they don't really come with instructions, so it's good to watch a video and figure out how to do it. Just one in the center. That's all it is. I split the doors. I kind of look through, split the doors, because this isn't pre-drilled. So the back doesn't go all the way to the floor. Catches right in that dado, if you can see it. There's a dado in this, so it catches right onto the bottom of the cabinet. And just like we did on the uppers, I like to throw a bead in the dado first. And I'm gonna throw some glue on either side. Now the lowers are a little bit harder because you can look, I got long arms, I'm 6'3". I can reach, but even for me, it's a little bit of a stretch. So if you got a hand, use it. We're in. And that one went together rather painlessly. Don't let the video fool you. They don't all go together perfectly easily. Sometimes they're a little bit warped and you have to fight them a little bit. But I'll take an easy one when I get it. And the same thing here. I'm just gonna flush that up and I'm gonna tack a few nails in the side. I recommend getting a magnetic tip. Look at that, makes it so easy. Just to pick up all your screws, and these little screws, man, I'll tell you what, I've fought them in the past. You wanna have a magnetic tip. It helps hold them in place because they're so tiny. It can be frustrating at times. They'll slip right off your drill. Make sure you got a new number 2 bit too. Pre-drill the bottom. Take your time, make sure you're going straight into it. The point is to make that screw guide straight into that plywood that we're screwing into. So what we're gonna do is, I got that loose drawer face. I'm gonna cheat it up just like this. I'm gonna sneak my hand under and grab it by the doors, lift it straight up, and carefully set it on my floor. Okay, now we got the drawer face. Nothing to it, really, nothing to it. So you're gonna start with the finished face of the door down. You wanna put the front together first. So I've got the bubble wrap there protecting it. And believe it or not, whoever formulated these glue bottles made them to fit into these dados perfectly. So just a kiss, we're not putting a lot. So when you're tapping these in, make sure your dovetail's aligned. I've experienced with the RTAs from time to time, they don't line up perfectly because they are production. And if that's the case, just get it together as neatly as you can, maybe file it down a little bit, but make sure they're lined up. It shouldn't take a hard hit to get it in. And another thing is, you'll see a lot of these companies put an embroidery in their drawer face. That's intended to be in the front. So when you open a drawer, you can see the name of the cabinet. Again, little tap. So we're just gonna line it up in the dado in the drawer. Slide it in, make sure it's seated all the way. And you can leave these, I was just making sure that it went in, but you could leave these open a little bit like that because you got to get this back on. Line it up. Gentle, it's a cabinet. You don't have to get crazy. I kind of try and push them together as I go. Got it pretty good already. I'm gonna put it on the side and just give it a couple taps. Make sure the front doesn't pop out. Sometimes when you hit the sides, the front will get loose a little bit. Get that out. There's our drawer glides. Keep a rag with you. These get oily, it gets on your hands, especially if you're working with white cabinets, you mark everything up. It's got just a little piece that presses into the back of the cabinet. I'll get you guys a closer view. There is just 2 little pre-drilled holes in here. You're simply gonna push that in, just like that. And then this comes with its own set of hardware. No, it's actually in a separate little bag. Take these screws. These screws are going to be both for your drawer glides and for the piece that mounts into the back of the cabinet. And it's got 2 little holes for you to screw that in. And like I said, if I'm working with a drawer base, I put these in first because they're hard to reach. But on this one, I could reach it just fine. Get your drawer glide. Be careful not to hit the face of your cabinet. The back of it has got a little notch to slide into that track you just put in. You're gonna slide that back about 3/16 of an inch or until you see your pre-drilled hole in the side of the cabinet face. And then you just screw it in. Not all your drawer glides are going to have these, but this actually has clips that clip to the bottom of the drawer. This little lever area right here goes as such, and these are actually pre-drilled. Awesome. That does not always happen. So this one's already got the pre-drilled holes where they want you to put the screws, but if it doesn't, put them where they go and just hit it with your pre-drill a little bit. Make sure you don't split your drawer. And we're in. Now you can pull those drawer glides out, or you could just slide it in. I'm gonna pull it into the back. There's like a little hole. You hear that? Locked in. One more, and it's in. You can double check it. And that's it, guys. That base cabinet's assembled. So you follow those steps, and you'll have no problem putting your cabinet together. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it illustrated how to assemble these if you've never done it before and you wanted to take this on. I'll be sharing the full assembly in the next couple of days, and then I'll be doing the 3-piece crown system on top and some light rail molding on the bottom. So like and subscribe if you like the video, and follow along. I'll be posting all this stuff in real time on every single job that I'm doing and sharing some tips and techniques with you guys.